Look what I bought, a 2007 Subaru Outback. This is a 2007 Subaru Outback, 120,000 mile, one owner car. I just purchased it to deliver it to my stepson out in California. Cars are way, way expensive out there, and we were able to pick this up for a pretty decent deal, I feel. To give a little background information, I purchased a 2005 Subaru Outback with the same options as this car, and my daughter's mom drove it for 100,000 miles. And so I have a unique perspective of knowing how these cars performed and felt brand new.
I don't know the full maintenance history of this car. The owner told me that he, at 100,000 miles, had the head gaskets done and the timing belts done at the same time. It appears to be that. There's no leakage at the head gaskets, which is a real problem with these engines. And it's really nice and quiet. No ticking. I remember opening the hood of my 2005 and it sounds the same. There's no real difference. Everything works as it should. It appears to me, buying used cars, I don't always ask for all. I ask if they have any maintenance records, and if they don't, then I just kind of stop, because people will tell you all kinds of tales about what they did to the vehicles or not. And so, but it appears that this still has the original struts on this vehicle. Now, I would imagine it had brakes put on at one time or another, because they still really have a lot of pad thickness, and rotors look good. But the struts look old, and I'm driving down this bumpy road, what is this, 85, going into Bakersfield, going towards Bakersfield, and it handles exactly the way these cars handled from brand new. I'm impressed. So my driving impressions. This car drives like a brand new car. I can't emphasize that enough. I know what these things drove like in 2005. This is 2007, of course. 15-year-old car. And the steering is like new. The brakes, the shocks, maybe wind noise is a little higher than it was, but not a lot higher. It handles really well. The transmission shifts just where it should. I've always loved the way the automatic transmission shifted, the Subaru transmission shifted. When you want them to downshift, they downshift, and when you want them to maybe torque a little longer than sometimes, it'll do that too. And so I'm pretty damn impressed. It doesn't follow the road, it doesn't clunk. It's pretty impressive. As far as fuel economy goes, I was driving it around for a week in Denver, picking up my stepson from school and my daughter from school, and going to the grocery store, back and forth, short trips. And the gauge showing mile per gallon showed about 18 miles per gallon. I've been on the road now for 2 days, driving it out to give it to my stepson. He actually bought it. We bought it, but it's for him. And so I drove from Denver to Fresno. So I'm really getting a good impression of the fuel economy. And it likes about 70 miles per hour. And it was showing as much as 27.3 miles per gallon. But when I filled it up and did the gas, it was about a mile per gallon less than what that shows. So it was at about the 26 mile per gallon. If you start to push the speed, it really affects it, because it has to downshift more to maintain that speed. But 65, 70 miles an hour, it cruises really nice. It's comfortable that way. It's not hunting around the road, and it's not affected by wind. The seats are amazingly comfortable. I'm 6'1", 230 pounds, and so I max out most Japanese cars for the seat position. And it just has a tilt steering column, not a telescopic wheel. But I put the seat all the way down and not all the way back, and I like to sit upright, but I have no complaints about the comfort of the seat. The fabrics are still in good shape. The foam is not destroyed. So it's been really a comfortable ride. Let's talk about wear and tear. This car is a one owner. It was a woman who bought this brand new and drove it. In the last few years, I think since the pandemic hit, she has 2 dogs. They don't look very old, and they definitely took a little bit of a toll on the interior, mostly on the vinyl, where they were looking out the windows or whatever they were doing, and they put a few nail dents along the way, but nothing was really destroyed. And so, you know, it really held up well. There's nothing majorly wrong with this thing at all. There's a couple nitpicky things, like the sunglass compartment doesn't stay shut. The floor mats, all the little nibblies on the bottom that would hold them in place, and actually the clip on the driver's side that would hold it from sliding forward, are all gone, and so the mats move around. But 15 years, you know, what do you expect? The trim and everything is still in place. The silver paint is in really good shape. There's no clear coat peeling. It lived its whole life in Colorado, which is a pretty extreme conditions, not very humid, and but it gets really hot in the summer. The sun is blazing hot, and in the wintertime, you know, there's mag chloride and things which will really destroy paint. But paint is in wonderful shape. Of course, there's some bumps and bruises on the outside, but overall, it's really held up well. Well, I guess to sum this up, now I understand why people like Subaru so much. It turned over 120,000 miles on this trip, and I couldn't be more impressed with a 15-year-old vehicle with 120,000 miles. And you know, I've owned a 1999 Legacy wagon. It was a GT package, and I really enjoyed that for probably 30,000 miles, and then purchased that 2005 when my daughter was on the way, and drove it for 100,000 miles up until about 2013, and it was a good vehicle all along. The interior on that one was tan, and so it showed a lot of the stains and things, and it also, the seat material tore, and I had an upholstery shop stitch it back together, and that was really the only problem with it. So this one is in really good shape. I would recommend anybody to purchase one of these. Normal maintenance, these people weren't maintenance freaks. There's some people who, you know, will take it into the Subaru dealer every, you know, few months to have it checked over. This one I don't think was. It was serviced at a Subaru specialist in Denver, and that's pretty much it. And here it is, driving down the road like a new vehicle. So my advice is, you know, if you find one that's in decent shape, don't be afraid to purchase it.